Hello everyone and welcome back to the Triple Crown Wargaming studio, where once again you are lumbered with none other than myself, James the Lord Master Lamin, him, Scott the Duke McHugh,
hello,
and her, Max the Chieftain Hurley, as we bring you another instalment of This Month in Warhammer.
Was that her or Cher?
Cher, should have been Cher.
Yeah.
Oh, disappointed. Should we start again? Should we start again? Hello everyone. Now,
no words.
it's a...
No words. Not even said a word at the moment. It's just...
Shots have been fired. You are here for our usual mix of roundtable discussions on all aspects of the hobby, from the serious to, quite clearly today, me, the silly. We're going to go through new releases, what we've been doing in the last month for our hobby, all the kind of social media stuff we've seen, anything that we like to call Warhammer news. I say we, I mean I. And then this month we're going to have a big discussion about the Sundering of Athel Loren narrative, that's the word I'm looking for. Not competitive, narrative event pack, which we released 2 weeks ago, and tickets went on sale 1 week ago.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Hence the laptop.
Hence the laptop, because it's all skewed because of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. So, congratulations, Her Majesty, but our filming schedule is now really odd and we don't even...
It's now been moved.
Yeah, we're very in a very weird place. So, let's check out some new releases, shall we?
Yeah.
We got for a very convoluted and exciting introduction. So first up is Echoes of Doom, which is a box game for iOS, which is Wood Elves and Skaven.
I'm just going to have a look.
Scott's got his own cheat sheet today.
He does.
So this one comes with quite a lot in it. You've got what they call the Lady of Vines, which is sort of on the Wood Elf side, which I think is about the size of an old tree man. Not the plastic one, the sort of 7th
The older...
Yeah, sort of
I'm doing that.
edition
You've got a
tree
picture
man.
in front of your face. I'm going to do it now.
I think there's options there for proxies for Orion as well, who's obviously not had a model for some time. There's also a tree man kit in there, Durthu or a tree man. There is 3 of what they call Kernoth Hunters, or I like to call Treekin, and 5 of what they are calling Gossamid Archers. Now, these, I'm not sure what you would use them as.
No.
We've had a few ideas.
Maybe unit fillers, maybe at a real push, Warhawk Riders. I think that's a real push, though.
I said some fanciful Way Watchers.
Fanciful Way Watchers, I don't...
Yeah, I'd probably get rid of the wings if I was going to use them as Way Watchers and just have them sort of dancing over bits
I
of,
think
like,
I would as well.
Twigs and
I
things.
like the idea of having like forest sprites inhabiting a body or something like that. They can form in it.
But wait, there's more.
No, well,
There's also Skaven in this box. There is one Deathmaster Assassin, who I think they originally said was the new Deathmaster Snitch, but...
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, to be honest, he's just a really nice Skaven, a really nice
I would have thought
Skaven.
Deathmaster doesn't actually... Or Stickage doesn't actually exist.
Oh, yeah, I guess not. Yeah, who knows. 1 Grey Seer on Screaming Bell / Plague Furnace kits, basically.
Yep.
10 Storm Vermin and 20 Clan Rats. Now, it's 115 from G-Dub. Now, what we could price up, because not all of this stuff's out at the moment, what we could price up is over 50 quid you're saving.
And what we couldn't price up, that would be the Lady of Vines.
Yeah, and those weird,
weird
flying...
And the Deathmaster?
Gossmaids and the Gossamids, and the Deathmaster, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you get a good amount of it then.
Yeah, well, you've got to think like the Tree Man
Save a good
and the
amount.
Screaming Bell are like 80 quid, basically, over 80 quid between the two of them.
Yeah,
so all of a sudden you're only looking at like sort of, 35 quid for box of Clan Rats, box
That's
of
the Kernoth Hunters.
Kernoth Hunters.
Basically.
Yeah, it's just the
30,
Kernoth Hunters. So yeah, once you get past those 2 big uns and those,
You get
you're
all the
basically it's
Skaven
for nothing.
infantry, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, good
Not a
deal.
bad little box, and if you can split it with someone, because you don't do both, or if you do both, great. We've also got from G-Dub sticking there. They've done a Vanguard box for Fire Slayers. This one you get 20 of their sort of Fire Slayers, 5 of their Hearthguard, which remind me of the old Storm of Chaos Berserkers, which you guys probably don't remember.
No.
And a Battlesmith, which is
a wee lad.
Which is just a Slayer with a banner.
Butter child.
Now I've seen quite a lot of people use these as Slayers in a Dwarf army.
Mm-hmm.
And they're alright for that, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're nice
Absolute
enough.
nightmares to rank up.
Do the job. Well, do you know what? If you number them, they go together alright. I've seen a few
There's
people
work.
get them in.
Having like the past 3 armies I bought. That's a number of their bases.
Yeah, well that's just the way it is, mate. You want to play a rank and flank game, that's what you have to do.
That's what you get when you don't play Warriors of Chaos, who are in the most static pose you've ever seen.
I like them. I like that model.
What? Because they rank up.
Yeah.
That's part of it, yeah. That is part of it.
Firm but fair. That one's 80 quid retail from G-Dub, 23 quid on buying it separately, but you will find it if you look around at various other places. We're going to Boards and Swords in a matter of weeks now. I'm sure they'll have a discount on it, and there's plenty of other places that will. Now you've got All Ratch the Drowner, who is the new Vampires character in a boat. I've got here on my cheat sheet. Character
on a boat.
In a boat, I've got.
He's in a boat.
This dude.
That is that dude.
Yeah.
Scott's still just double checking to make sure that I didn't call him Drowner when he's in fact drowned.
He's captain of the dead apparently as well.
Yeah, he's Drowner.
Yeah, he is Drowner. Yeah, he is interesting enough. I think he's alright.
I like him. I
like the model. I think it's a very cool model. It's difficult to know what you'd use him as, really.
I think
Other than a very cool unit.
He's a bit of a filler, yeah. But again, Max said
I said
corpse cart in, and I do think if you're doing a Vampire Coast themed army, I've seen one. I've got to find out whose it is, and I've got to ask him if we can get some cool pictures of it on the Old World Facebook group.
Yeah.
And he's always sharing them, and he's like green stuff in them and making them look really like the Total War ones, and they just look ace. And I think that would really
fit really
well with that. Final thing that's been released like that is the Chronicles of Malus Darkblade Volume 2. Now that includes Warp Sword, Lord of Ruin, Deathblade and Bloodwalker. And a variety of authors have penned those, including Dan Abnett and C.L. Werner. I really like C.L. Werner's fantasy books, actually. $12.99 from Black Library. Don't know if you'll find that discounted anywhere, but $12.99 is not bad, to be honest, for 4 books, I think.
No.
Malus Darkblade's a classic.
He is
great stories.
I mean, he's more classic in the novel sense rather than the tabletop sense.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But it's like Thanquo, isn't it? Thanquo's a classic in the novels.
Yes,
maybe not so much on the table. So good stuff there. Cool if you like your Black Library and you like your stories in the old set in the old world. It's really good to see them pushing these books back out there again and getting them out there for people that didn't get them before. Now, we've had a bit of a tip-off this month from none other than legendary nice guy Nick Gowan about Gowan. Yes, because I spell it Gowan, but it's Gowan. I'm sorry, Nick. I'm really sorry. We've been friends a long time, and I'm sorry.
It's Gowan. I'll tell him it's Gowan.
It's
and you know what? He's a nice enough guy. He won't even
tell you wrong. Yeah. Now, this is a company. Now I'm going to read this out. It's studiolevel.com.pl. Please put the .pl on the end, or you just get nothing. Just comes up with like, would you like to buy this domain for like $2,000?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't actually.
Yeah, it was weird when we first looked it up.
Now these guys have got, they do sort of terrain basically, gaming mats and stuff, but they do honestly some really wicked Warhammer fantasy terrain and gaming mats. I really like their elf terrain kits. Scott's taking a look now. .pl.
Is he going to attempt to buy a domain name for $2,000?
No, he's got to the correct place. If you go quickly see more. Now, they do bundles on there as well. It's all coming from Poland, I would guess, because that is what .pl is from. But check it out. It's some really, really nice stuff. We liked it, and thanks to Nick for putting it under our nose, because there's some really cool stuff there.
Yeah, even like generic things like sort of woods, trees, hills, that sort of thing, buildings.
They've got like a medieval town as well, I think. Yeah.
Ponds.
I like the fact that I can buy a set as well.
Yeah.
I like the fact that I can buy like a table. And it's
fully decked out table
and I'm just putting that up somewhere. I mean, that seems like it's really cool. So definitely into that. Quite like it. Really like this one. Pointing at Scott. So yeah, check them out. And the final thing I'm going to mention in new releases is the tickets for the October Narrative event, which
I don't need to Google these.
You don't need to Google those. They are the Sundering of Athel Loren tickets. They are. This is fun. They might still be available.
Maybe. From
triplecrownwargaming.com.
Go
there and check out the store to see if they are still any left, or if they've sold out yet. Never fear. Drop us an email. That's the triplecrownguys@gmail.com and get yourself added to the reserve list. Yes. You always get a few because people buy the tickets ahead of time, and then life comes along. So do make sure you get yourselves on that. But they are still they're £35 each, or £45 if you want to crown them. More on that later on. But if you came to the GT, you'll know what that's all about.
Yeah.
So
you'll get the gist.
Yeah.
Or if you've looked at the pack, you'll know what that's about.
Yeah, you will. It's all in there. All involved. Now, we're going to have a chat about the month in our hobby then. So, shall we start with the chieftain,
Always starts with
the main man?
It always starts
with the
It's
chieftain.
always. He always said, "Shall we start with the chieftain?" It always starts with the chieftain.
Shall we start with Scott then?
Let's start with
Yeah.
Scott.
We'll start with the Duke.
Always starts with me.
Okay, well,
Let's start with the Lawmaster.
Let's start with me if you want. I don't mind. We'll start with me. I don't think we've ever started with me. Let's start with me.
Well, then.
You like to pretend you're the big man at the end of it,
Well,
but you've done the most.
I've done the least, yeah. I've done a lot this month, actually.
Tell you what, you've not done. Painted any Chaos Dwarves.
No, you're not paying.
No,
it.
it's...
Month 2.
Hey!
So I've been working on quite a lot. Obviously, a lot of my hobby time was spent finalising the Sundering pack in the last 4 weeks, which was really cool. We really had fun. We then did pop release 1 week in, as we always do, which is like an FAQ release, basically, where we just tidy up any areas of misconception. So I kind of had a few days working on that, because I had to put together the initial pack, which is surprisingly long. It's about 20 hours work to put it together, and then the couple of hours to do the FAQ, if you like, and build it all back in. So there was that, but I also did a lot of characters for this year's pictures. I got through a few. So I'm trying to look beyond the camera, because they're all sort of stacked up there. So priests, I did a priest of Kurnos, the one in the pack. I converted that and painted that this month. I did the priest of Cain, converted and painted that. I did the priest of Hecate, which was from that Splintered Fang box from Warcry.
The guy that basically chucking a snake at someone.
Yeah, that's really cool.
He's a really cool model.
He's a great model for priest of Hecate.
Priest of the Laugh as well.
Oh yeah, I did the laugh, which was
Mistweaver.
a Mistweaver with a shield,
something,
Gave it a shield.
Yeah.
Painted it up, looked good. Then I did the
God, can't remember your characters' names now.
Psykilla.
Scott's got it there. He could
What's
just tell me.
what's the demonette's name? So I did the demonette
the
character, the herald of Sinesh. I think her name's something like 6 kilo or something like that.
I think that's the actual new Demon Prince character.
Demon Prince? No Demon Prince.
No, it's in the GW one.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Well, that's like Celeste.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Oh,
Celeste the Demon Prince.
Yeah, and it's
Sistela,
Sistela.
Malevolent Herald of Famine.
So I painted Sistela. I also painted up. What?
I can't remember the.
I also painted up Astorica. I think her name is.
Astorica, yeah.
Astorica, the Warriors of Chaos character. I did like a Slaneshi vibe on her to go with a Slanesh army I'm never going to finish.
And you did Palador Uglu.
I did Thalandor Olgu as well.
I'm just flicking through so James
Just
can see if
flicking
he's
through.
painted any more.
And obviously Graf Bittersteel was one that I'd done, but he was a little bit further back than sort of very recent. I don't think there's any more that I did. I had like 7 or 8 to do, so it was quite a lot when they're all characters. So
Yeah. Historica, yeah.
Very pleased with her. I was really pleased with her axe actually. Very cool. So yeah, so quite a bit. I've also got back on the dwarves. Done some basing. Started sorting out my BSB. Got some unit fillers because I was really inspired by Rob's unit fillers when he came down for Take the Crown against you. So I've built some unit fillers and sanded them up. By the time this comes out, I would expect to have probably painted the unit fillers, but I've only had them like a day, so it's a little bit pressed up. So yeah, I mean, buying things wise, I bought a lot of characters. Pretty much all of that stuff that I just talked about painting was bought in the last 4 weeks as well, because of getting it ready. And yeah, those unit fillers I picked up. I grabbed, I don't think a lot else, because I grabbed so much sort of bits and bobs for the other things. It ticks up on you and adds up.
Yeah.
I think I ended up spending about 100 quid getting all the character bits together. So yeah. So I've bought quite a bit. Next month is we're really close to the dwarves. You guys have seen them today because I've got them all sort of laid out. So
and those are the regular varieties, not the
chaos my plain old fashions of Bar Army, which is going to come to the channel. I really hope next month. It's really close. So we were sort of debating whether to try and push for this month, but like I said, with the way the filming schedule's been slipped and slid, because I've got some work commitments, and then we had the Platinum Jubilee weekend, which we're on part of now, yeah. So it's just kind of getting it all. You're on holiday, aren't you?
I am.
So once it's all kind of lined up, it's probably better not to take a chance and disappoint, and just do a really good job on them for next month. So that's my plan, really. Get the dwarves done, and then try and resist buying a Sinesh Demons army to go with that Herald I provided.
Try and resist.
And really enjoyed.
You've already bought some.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, no, technically haven't because I haven't paid for them,
Oh,
and I
see.
haven't got them in my possession. So I'm not sure how you define transaction, but
I believe you've agreed.
There's an agreement
There
in
is a
principle.
verbal contract in place.
Yeah, there's an agreement in principle for fair play. I've forgotten about these.
Forgotten.
To be fair, so had I, and he's buying them off me.
So grab 20 Demonettes, 3 Fiends of Sinesh, and some Sinesh Furies, which were made from the Kiniri range, which we've talked about on the channel before, being really good for that. So I've got some of those coming as well from Scott, which he's been an absolute legend and said he was going to do for 50 quid for me. So
Well, that's an outright lie.
I'm going to do 50 quid times 2.
so
Yeah, you can have half of it for that. I'll cut a fiend in half for you, how's that?
cut a fiend in half.
1.5 things.
Okay, and on that bombshell, I'm going to be done with my hobby. So let's do the Duke as Max kicked off and he can go last.
Damn right, yeah.
So, like James, I've done a couple of characters for the pack. I changed a weapon head on Ozog Worldburner, the Firebelly dude, and painted him up. First time I've really actually green stuffed anything major like that.
Yeah.
So I based it off of the mace head in the... I always say Cursed City, but I don't think it is.
No, it's not.
It's
Underworld?
the set of 4 vampires. I think it might be
it's the
Underworld.
Underworld stuff in it. Yeah.
The set of 4 vampires, the one who's holding like a mace straight up. I took that mace head, put it on, it was too small. So I sort of green stuffed around it, made it a bit bigger to fit the ogre. Got that painted up. I also repainted my mounted vampire conversion. Painted him up as the Red Duke for the pack. And I bought and painted I can't remember his name either.
I think I remember his. It might be DeCastus. You've gone past him.
DeCastus, Malevolent, Herald of Death. The Demons of Chaos Nurgle character from the pack. Got him built and painted. He's actually a lovely model.
Yeah, he is nice.
He's really
Yeah.
nice. He'll be definitely making an appearance in my Demons army as a Herald.
So
I
you
also
have enough already.
No, to be fair, I only had 2 Heralds. One's a BSB, one's not.
Okay.
So I didn't have loads. Also got a Great Unclean one painted up.
Yeah,
All the
I
demons.
saw that.
That was quite nice.
Yeah, he was nice and quick actually.
Contrast, what a hero.
Yeah. What, did I paint anything else? I don't think so. Don't think I painted anything else. I have bought most of that Lizardman army that featured on Tale a few weeks ago.
I love Max's little
with-
cock in the eyebrows there.
With many extras which weren't in that list. Still
Many
need,
extras being like 3 cars.
yeah, 3 dinosaurs. Still need some skinks. Still need all the Temple Guard. And the extras were all of those Saurus as well,
Oh, yeah.
and all of those cold ones.
Yeah.
Never
So in a very real sense, did not need those boxes at all.
can never have so many Saurus characters on cold ones, though, can you?
What,
21.
21? There was
How
21.
big a game am I playing?
10,000 points.
I need a lot of core.
Yeah, you do. You better get. And suddenly those Saurus are right back in the game.
Yeah, so I still need the Temple Guard, still need some more skinks and some Crocsagore. But I think... Oh, Pterodons. I need some Pterodons as well. But I think that's
Terry!
it. Not Terry. Terry's dead.
Why?
Not like this.
But yeah, hopefully I'll be getting them painted in the coming month. I'm going to try out the Army Painter speed paints.
Yeah, we
Similar
talked
to
about those, didn't we?
Contrast. Yeah, similar to Contrast, but obviously from Army Painter's version of them. I quite liked how they'd looked on a couple of sort of YouTube videos on reviews and stuff that people had done. So I'm going to give them a go. See how
I
they come
liked
out.
the turquoisey one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to try it on some skinks. Because I think I'll need to buy 1 more box of skinks anyway, and I think I'll have like 2 spare. So I'll try it on a couple of skinks, see how they come out. If I don't like them, I'll throw the skinks away.
She's got skinks to burn over there, isn't it?
I think though. That's. Oh, actually, when did that happen? Maybe. I also built 40 Grove Guard.
I feel like that might have been on the last
one.
I
episode.
think you said you was using the process of building.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you might have now completed
I
that.
have now completed the 40. I've got
Picked
20
them up,
more to build.
Put them in a cupboard. Bought this man army.
No, I played a game with them. I played 1 game with them.
Ungame.
Yeah,
Put
they
them
were
in the
great.
cupboard.
They ran riot through some Dark Elves. It was great. Cheers for the game, Chris. It was a good game. I think that's it though. Yeah, I'm pretty sure
Rack's
that's it.
brain to try and remember.
Yeah. I'm
So
trying
the
to look
plan
around
is-
my hobby room and think if there's any, because it'd be left out. I wouldn't have put them away. I built the rest of those vampires from that box of 4.
Oh.
While I cut the mace off, I was like, well, I might as well build them. Didn't get around to painting them though.
Nice.
Silly. But yeah, I think that's it.
And you've that's the plan next month is
Lizards, I think. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Come on, Max.
The year of the Empire has not gone well.
No.
Terribly.
It's not. It's just a year of everything else.
Terrible.
Everything but, really, yeah.
So, what have you been doing, Max?
I've done a lot. I've done a lot in both buying and painting.
Shocker, the buy.
Shocker, the painting.
That is the real shocker, yeah.
Painting wise, I painted up the Corn Herald.
Yeah, you did,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tell me the name for that one. So I don't remember the top of my head.
He is Kazarat,
Kazarat,
Malevolent Herald of War.
Malevolent Herald of War. I painted him up, which I was quite happy with how he turned out. I think he looked very nice.
Yeah, he's
myself.
Yeah, he looks nice on the, in the photo as well.
Thank you very much.
He looks good on the background.
Yeah.
Apparently, aspiring photographer here as well. And also painted up the Herald of Zinch as well.
Remember his name?
And this is the worst one.
It's Xalcor,
Yeah.
Zalcor.
yeah.
Malevolent Herald of Subjugation.
I painted him up, and because these heralds can go on mounts, he was stuck on a disc because that was the model I had to hand to build to paint up for this herald.
Yeah.
So I painted up those heralds there. I painted up obviously all those Razor Gore as well. They all the 12 Razor Gore. There's 4
More you're painting
No,
up?
no, I have 18. So there's 6 left to paint. But there needs to be, I think it's like 4 or 5 that I want to get painted up for the majority of what I actually need to get done.
Nice.
So who knows if they're going to make a return anytime soon.
Maybe.
So I got them painted. What else to get painted? I don't actually got anything else painted apart from so where Scott had bought my lizardmen off me, he didn't give me the money.
It's an illness.
I mean, he didn't give me the money. I thought, you know what? I finished the pigs. That's quite a nice little addition because my Beastman army is now like 4,000 points. Manually.
Have you got enough core for that?
No.
I don't have a core. I just have 4,000 round points.
You got 625 points of core
Yeah.
and 18 pigs.
And some stuff you can vary in and out.
Yeah. I mean, 18 pigs is 1,000 points. Yeah, so I got boom.
You're an ill man.
Right, so I got those. So I thought, oh, you know, I'll treat myself. What
Because the pig's got enough of a treat.
I thought I'd treat myself. So yeah, Scott bought my lizardmen off me, and I thought, Scott, you keep the money. Can you put an order in for me for a Demons of Corn army? Because I was very inspired by Simon Hughes' Demons army at the Triple Crown.
Yeah, we were talking
Very
about that,
inspired by
yeah.
that. And so I bought a Demons of Corn, an entire Demons of Corn army. And so what they
When he said keep the money, I was like, oh, you're giving them to me. Oh, thanks, mate. Then he said, put this order in. I was like, oh. I see.
I think what I had to give you like additional like.
You had to give me more money. It came to more than what the
I
lizards
think
paid.
it's additional like 50 quid or something.
Something like that, yeah.
So what I got was
I just sit here in the middle with a big grin on my face whilst you two do this.
let's go through what I got. I got a Bloodthirster.
Mm-hmm.
When I bought the Herald, I bought a Stark Cleansing Corn set for myself,
Okay.
just to get it going. So I painted up
Because I couldn't wait.
I couldn't. I hate waiting for this sort of thing. So in that you obviously get the skull, you get the Blood Throne, 10 Blood Letters, and the 3 Blood Crushers.
Yep.
I built it all. The Blood Throne's become a Skull Cannon,
Yep.
as you do because it's
It's
good.
the same kit. And that's
And the
better
Herald
option.
that's on the top of that is now
Is-
on a rock on a base.
Classic.
On
So-
a rock.
Because his legs
are super spread,
He's
aren't
too
they?
wide
Yeah.
to actually fit.
It's
So he
huge.
has to go on a base. He has to go on a rock. So I built him. He's painted as well are 4 Blood Letters. And
Four.
now- 4 Blood Letters. So that's all I could bother to do last night.
So that's your core right there, isn't it? The price of blood letter, 4 blood letters.
Yeah,
about right.
pretty much.
The sad part is that 4 blood letters is like 10% of your core.
It's a lot of your core, yeah.
So I got that, and then what Scott ordered for me was a Bloodthirster,
Yep.
Skull Taker,
Yep.
10 Flesh Hounds,
Yep.
another Start Collecting Corn,
Yep.
2 regular boxes of Blood Letters,
Yep.
and a box of the Judgments of Corn.
And 3 boxes of the Chaos Beasts.
3 boxes of Chaotic
From
Beast
Warcry.
because that will actually do me because that will give me my Corn
Zinch
Furies,
Furies,
and my Zinchi Furies.
Yeah, what annoys me though is that you said you were going to buy a box and then swap the Zinch Furies with me out of the box of Furies I already have for the normal Furies.
Mate, if you want, buy a box and I'll do that with you now.
Okay.
We'll do
Oh,
that.
there we go. Sorted.
We'll sort that later on today. I'll get
All the
I'll-
Furies.
I'll do
Buy
it.
more.
Yeah.
I'll have
I've
like,
got a fever in the only prescription. He's
buying
more
more.
furies.
yeah, so I got all that. So that's like 2,500 points of Corn Demons.
I would have thought.
No, it's a lot more than
No,
that.
sorry,
I was gonna say.
it's 2,500 points, and then the 25 points doesn't include the 10 flesh
And then
hounds.
600 points of flesh hounds.
And then the flesh hound is like an extra 300 points. It's,
Yeah.
it's 2,900, 20. 800 points.
Is that all you bought? For
No,
Demons
it's not.
of Corn?
It's not all I bought for Demons of Corn because Scott doesn't know this.
Yeah, no.
This is the first Scott's hearing about this. Is that Rob Nixon, who's on in the Take the Crown? Obviously, he sold me his Chaos Dwarfine before. He thought, I can get this mug for more money. He said, I can get this mug for more money. So he contacted me. He said, "Listen, man, I know you buy Demons of Corn. I have all this that I'm putting up for sale." And it was like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Some of it was like, I don't particularly need all of it because I've got the majority already.
But when did that ever stop me?
No. But then what he did have for sale was Karanak.
Ooh,
So I've now got a Karanak. He had the HK Big Bloodthirster.
nice.
So I've now got that.
Or both.
So I'm now going to build, I can now build the Big Daddy-O or the regular Bloodthirster, and I've got HAB Bloodthirster on the
Yeah,
wings.
nice.
And then what he's also done is, which is very exciting for me, is 31 Diaz metal bloodletters.
Ooh,
Bulk tax, dude.
And bulk
Yeah,
tax
yeah,
doors.
yeah.
So he's selling me 30 of those. So that's like, I don't know, 2,000 points of bloodletters right there.
That's
with,
a lot of points.
with the 40 I'm going to be using and the 30 there,
Yeah.
like 70 bloodletters.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
points.
And it's a lot of points. So all of a sudden I've gone from
It's
no
1,000 points of bloodletters.
no Demons of Corn to like
all the demons
to
have
like
gone.
4,000 5,000
probably
points.
enough to field
To field 4K.
4K, yeah.
Yeah.
You probably got 1,000 points bloodletters, which lets you have both the bloodthirsters in the same army. That is a big boy beatdown waiting to happen, isn't it? 2 bloodthirsters.
And if I'm honest,
2 cannons, both dead.
I think it should be done against Bretonians with Lewin Lonker. What could possibly go wrong?
Louis gets HKB'd. Yeah!
It's fine, mate. It's fine. The Bloodthirsters get trebbed. Turn 1. Don't worry
Oh,
about it.
come on now. Go on.
Don't worry about
So,
Can't wait till those trebs misfire.
so yeah, in the space of a month, I've now gone up to like 4,500 points of Demons of Corn.
Okay.
And to be honest, it won't take all that long to paint either. It's just
Well, it will for you.
well, no, well, maybe when I actually get around to doing it because it's just Wraith Bone Spray,
Yeah.
Blood Angels contrast,
Yeah.
Retributed Gold with a Reichland Flesh Shade over the top of that.
Oh, you did actually wash it.
I wash all my models. I do actually like washing my models.
Okay.
Tell me wrong. When you look at the models, tell
Wash
me
them
wrong.
what? To get the dust off?
I do like to watch that. I do that.
And then
Runs a little bubble bath for it.
bone horns, rack off flesh bone horns,
Yeah.
and then what I've done for the blade of it, I've done what I did for my.
What's on that Rackar flesh?
Yes, none oil.
I love the way
Jesus.
we both went there as
Yeah.
well.
Why?
Sepia.
Yeah,
Or flesh shade?
Or Agrax, I could let you have
Agrax
Agrax.
would be better
No,
than Null.
yeah.
It's what I had to hand. It's what I've always done.
It's what I had to hand.
It's what I've done all
Bit
my.
that on there.
It's
Do
what
you even own a sepia shade? Do you own any shade that isn't Null Oil?
None oil, Farrakhan Flesh Shade, and Carabao Crimson.
So use Reichland Flesh Shade. I could accept that.
Yeah, I don't
No,
know.
it wasn't,
No, I'm not too excited.
But it's what
Better
I've,
than,
Do you
it's
know-
better than Null Oil.
Buy sepia. There you go. I say it.
Yeah.
it's what I've always done all my boning. I've always done it none oil. You guys have never said anything against it.
I've never said
I
anything
think
good
you'll
about
find
Warriors
we
of
have
Chaos.
recently had a recurring joke off camera,
Yeah.
which is that's nicely painted for you. I think is what I said, and I was
Yeah.
shot to bits by the two of them.
Said a very real serious entity to my
Yeah.
army. And
No, that's nicely painted. For you.
I'm
Was,
like,
was
cheers,
the
mate.
tone it was said in. It was perfect.
Thanks, mate.
But I've never said a good word about your Warriors of Chaos painting.
No,
I've never had a nice thing to say about it.
In jest or otherwise.
purely because whenever I get compliments, it's because of my painting, and Scott gets no compliments for his painting at
Yeah,
the same time.
it hurts. I'm not gonna lie, it hurts.
Yes.
Oh,
But then-
just took a turn I was not expecting
And
today.
then, and the Bloodletters, the Hellblades have done what I've done with my Savage Orc, so black and just fine gloss.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a nice, like really dark and well, not it's very dark because it's black.
Yeah.
Like a very
Yes.
hellish sort of looking blade. 'Cause
Yeah,
a lot
it's
of
sort of
Hellblades.
obsidian
Yeah.
looking, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of that. So yeah, so
It's
maybe.
how I've done
all your.
all my plate bearers, although I did highlight them.
Oh, I didn't. Who has time for highlights?
Just pass you some aloe vera for the affected area and just ask Scott to
Don't
put
go
down the
don't go
6
in the
shooter.
pile you keep giving me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep getting burned here.
Yeah.
So yeah, 4,500 points. Demons Corn.
Cool. What's the plan for next month?
Demons Zinch. No, I might actually when I get Demons of Corn done, I might actually start looking into doing some Dark Elves. So I bought that army book, didn't I? I bought the army book.
It's a sickness.
What is happening here?
It's a sickness.
I
thought you hated elves.
I do hate elves, but Dark Elves are the elves I hate the least.
Why don't you do Wood Elf army
I tried
and
that.
hear me out? Don't use any elves.
Because even I'm not that crazy.
This is
Look, you don't like elves. It gets around that. You're not using any elves.
I really
You
want
have zero
I really
banners
want
in your
you,
whole army.
I really want you to do the Dark Elves because I want to see you build and paint a Dark Elf army before Scott gets his done, which he's owned for about a year and a half.
Whoa. He'll buy my Dark Elf army.
Probably.
More than likely. So yeah, so that's probably next month if I get Demon's Corn done pretty quickly. It'll be Demon's Zinch because I want to get them done.
4,000
Just
points.
4,000 points in like a month.
Treat yourself.
Nothing.
But I said I'd like to get the Demon's Zinch because it means we'll have all 4 Chaos Gods at this point. When James buys his Demon Slash army.
Yeah. We'll have all podcasts when I buy an army painted. When we've just castigated the amount I get painted. Should we move on?
Good luck.
So yeah, that was my month. Pretty massive. I've had a lot of fun.
Pretty big.
Large.
Huge.
Social media wise, been a really cool month for us because obviously we had the pack release for Athel Loren. There's going to be a lot of talk about the Sundering of Athel Loren pack today. Spoilers. And just lots of really cool positive interactions. Lots of people pointing out very legitimate questions of little interactions that they're wondering how they work and stuff. It's just really cool to see people really engaging and just like really getting into the spirit of what like that event's about.
Yeah.
So that's been super cool. We've had some good emails as well. Lots of event details people have emailed over to us this month.
Questions about the pack.
We'll talk about later.
Lots of people interested in tickets. Obviously, we don't know if there are still tickets available, but because we're filming this before they go on sale.
We don't
know. You know. But yeah, lots of good sort of interactions around the pack. People really looking forward to it.
We had Nick send us over all that terrain stuff from studiolevel.com.pl. And that was really cool.
It was.
So it's been a bit of a mixed month because we had a couple of guys just contact us chatting about like deep dive content they've watched and some stuff they had questions about that. So it's really cool to see you guys dropping us emails or commenting on the feeds. It's been a good month for some cool hobby on the channel as well with some armies that have gone up in the last 4 weeks. They've been really cool looking. Yeah. So lots of cool stuff happening there. We've had some awesome Saturday Showcase stuff sent in the last 4 weeks. Please keep doing it. If you've got cool models and you want us to put them out on Facebook and Instagram, we like to do it because they're probably better than most of ours. Harsh. He's right there. But
that's never stopped him before.
Drop us a message on any of our social media channels, or even better than that, drop us an email. The Triple Crown guys at gmail.com with some pictures of your really cool figures and we'll stick them on the Saturday Showcase. Why would we not? Don't know why we wouldn't do it.
No.
Because we are cool figures.
Because we're not nice people if we didn't.
No, we'd just be mad not to. People send us such cool stuff. So a bit of Warhammer news then, chaps. Quite a bit. Start out as ever with our Champions of Destiny shout out. A massive shout out, particularly if you're in the UK, but even if you're not, you should be signing up on this thing anyway. So head over to Facebook, go and have a look for Champions of Destiny. I believe it is tagged with, and I should know because we've done this for 15 months. I think it is UK
we can actually check it this time.
Edition Warhammer Fantasy Players.
Champions of Destiny UK 8th edition Warhammer Fantasy Players.
Oh, I got it! I'm so pleased with myself. So that's sort of like 560 odd members of the group right now.
567.
There you go.
At time of filming.
At time of filming, yeah. All figures were correct at time of filming. So yeah, very cool. Set up by Mark Pete originally. Massive shout out to Mark, but it's got loads of really great admins on there.
Yeah.
And if you're into that sort
self plug, that was really rare.
If you're into that, it's not really, is it? It's the channel, you know what I mean? But whatever.
He's PR.
But if you're into kind of networking with other fantasy players, if you want to see where lots of events get posted, this is the place to go. Tons of events get posted there. There's always people sharing hobby, chatting about all sorts of stuff. And if you've got hobby questions that you want to get answers to, this is a really good place to go too. You know, it's free. It takes 30 seconds to come along and sign yourself up for the group. Why wouldn't you do it? It's good stuff. Speaking of things that are free to sign up, if you are not a knight errant on triplecrownwargaming.com, why aren't you a knight errant? It's free. Head over there, sign yourself up. You get a bit of extra content.
You do.
A little cheeky taste of Tales from the Wizard's Tower.
You do. You get 2 tales.
There you go.
Oh.
And you can still watch all the stuff you watch on YouTube through the website on there as well. So why would you not? It's free.
Just with a cool Warhammery background.
Yeah. And then, you know, you can get your Knight of the Realm subscription as well.
Exactly.
If you want to treat yourself to that.
Treat yourself to some dice, some t-shirts.
All sorts. Lots of products available.
Once you got a taste, you cannot go back. You can't go back once you got a taste of it.
So events. There's a couple we're going to talk about. I've got cheat sheets specifically for events. The first one I'm going to talk about is the South Shields Slaughter. This one is on the 20th of August 2022. For those who are not sure if I was referring to an event 14 months away. Now this is a one-day event. It's 1,500 points and it's random doubles pairings.
Okay. That does interest me.
So you show up on the day and you're paired with someone else at random and you have to battle your way through. Now this is run by Andrew Tunnerdine. He's a very cool dude. He was at the Triple Crown GT a few weeks ago.
He was also on a live stream.
He was?
He was, yeah.
Against
Game
Sneshy
1.
Demons, wasn't
Yeah, game 1.
Yep. And the tickets for that are £18 each. Now, you can find more information on it on the Champions Destiny page I mentioned earlier. At the time of filming, I think there were still tickets available, so check it out because it's going to be a great event. The guys done some really cool stuff up there. And then we also have the Plunder of Lustria. Now, this one we've not got a ton of information on yet because a lot of it's still being finalised. So we've had a chat with the guys putting it together. Now, this is Box of Frogs. I think this is called Box of Frog Events. If you search Box of Frog Events on Facebook, you will find the page that this is on. Now this one is going to be on the 26th and 27th of November. Now I've got some specific details that we were sent across to share. So this is a Warhammer Fantasy Battles 8th edition narrative weekend. Over 2 days you will take part in a story-based journey where your hastily mustered force seek to plunder the vast wealth of Lustria. Then you'll need to beg, steal and backstab your way free of the accursed continent. Over the weekend you'll take part in 4 games set on battlefields of dense jungle and amongst ruins of ancient cities to snatch and grab as much wealth as you can. Now you can look forward to familiar yet intriguing new narrative-based missions, bespoke terrain objectives, some of which you'll be able to keep if you win them. That's quite cool. And most of all, a fun and immersive story-based narrative. And when the sun sets on the final day, you'll count your gold and see who has plundered the most. The general who has plundered the largest quantity of gold is, of course, your winner. Now, this is happening in Pooley, which I'd love to pretend I really know where that is. But
Sounds like a fake place.
I think it's going to be in the north of England. And Scott's
like
going to... For once we've got, like, a useful, helpful tool for us to know where things are. We've got the internet. Now, from what I understand,
We've got the internet.
is what I understand at the moment, the size of games is not been set. I've heard sort of 2,000, 2,500, but being banded around, but nothing's sort of set in stone at the moment.
Just outside Birmingham.
There you go. That's literally it. Lovely.
It is.
And so just outside Birmingham. So more Midlands than North of England,
yeah,
really.
sort of. If you go from Birmingham to Nottingham, you'll probably go through it.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. So it's nice and in the Midlands, really accessible to get to. Then
It is.
that's great.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of the country.
Sort of a few hours from us, yeah.
If we can get there, we will. I don't know. I think we've got some other events and stuff booked on that weekend.
When is it?
It's the last weekend in November. I think we might be booked on for someone's birthday that weekend.
Yeah,
We're all
I
going.
might be booked on for my fiance's birthday.
That might be what I'm thinking of.
Concern.
So, but as we get more information, we'll bring it to you here, and I think that's probably next month. We'll have a bit more fixed information. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But it looks really cool.
So
So
I'm certainly looking forward to hearing sort of more about, you know, the missions that you'll be playing, the sort of the narrative behind it, and how it's all going to interact with how you play your games. I think it's a really a sort of interesting, a really unique style, I think, of event.
Yep. So
which is very
get yourself over to Box of Frog events on Facebook. Box of Frogs events.
Frog, not the singular.
Not frog.
Box
Frogs
of Frogs events on Facebook for more information. And I think that's really where I'm going to leave news today. Because we've got lots of other cool things to talk about. And the studio is baking hot today.
Oh, it's so warm.
We picked literally the nicest day of the Jubilee weekend to film. So everything is sort of sticking to my face, and I can. We're all very red. I don't know how red you can see us being. So we're going to move on to our big discussion, and this month we're going to talk about the Sundering of Athel Loren pack. So.
Pack's out. Go read the pack, Rush. We out of the studio.
That's it. That's the video.
That's it.
Well, I'll put a picture of this month's schedule as well. You can read it yourself.
So we are melting, but I'm just going to start by saying we're not going to go too much into special characters in this section. Some of them are returning anyway.
They are.
The new from last year, so if you've watched previous videos and we talked about the Scorching of Khemri, or when we talked about... I don't think we did burn on Khemri, did we? But we did.
No,
we did talk about Burning of... Light of Albion.
Light of Albion.
Well, no, we know our campaign weekend.
Burning of Lustria was
like
years ago.
Like 5 years ago, When we talked about the Light of Albion campaign, we covered a lot of the characters in there as well.
We did.
Yeah.
So we're not going to cover the new special characters in this pack. I think there's 8 or 10. 7 or 8.
There's 4 demons, so...
Yeah, so it's a few.
That helps.
What we're going to do instead is we're going to bring you a new tower from the Wizard's Tower section every month between now and when the event comes out, which I think we're going to call the Road to Athel Loren.
Road to Athel Loren.
As Max coined it. I quite like that.
I wasn't here when this was discussed.
No, we discussed this on the telephone. We were social.
Yeah, on the mobile telephone.
Yeah. So social, you didn't want to meet up in person.
No.
Okay. And even then, I don't like talking on the phone. So.
I hate it, and he calls me all the time. And he's there for like 2 hours. I'm like, leave me alone. Text me. Get to the 21st century.
What's all that about texting? Oh, I'll type you a message.
Oh, so you're still using Telegram, aren't you?
Yeah, unfriendly. I'll fax it to you.
All right, you're a letter.
I'll page you.
I'll fax it to you.
Get your bleeper out.
So what we're going to do is we're going to have, in those sections, the first one of which will be available very soon, we'll talk about sort of how we see each special character functioning, how the Magic Standard works, talk a little bit about their design cues and stuff as well. So that will be sort of pumped out between now and October, so we'll go into a lot more detail in those towels. What we are going to talk about is the general shape of the pack, and we're going to talk about really the kind of the things that set this narrative event apart from other ones we've done, which is really dedications and missions.
Yeah,
they're probably the two key elements in that way. So you'll find with this pack that when you build your armies, you have access to new special characters, and you also have access to unit upgrades if you take those special characters. But crucially this time around, we have access to dedications. So I don't know if Scott wants to go through that very quickly.
I will, yes. So at this event, all the factions are able to dedicate to a particular god that's part of the Elven Pantheon. Now, depending on what side you are on, whether you're on the armies of the Oak or the servants of the Wildwoods, will depend on which of the gods you can dedicate your army to. So, armies of the Oak can dedicate their armies to Azurian, Liliath or Vol, and servants of the Wildwood can dedicate their armies to Kurnos, Hecate or Cain. So all Elven gods, so even if you're an Empire army, the idea is that it's a person in the Empire, a bit like a warrior priest, but who has dedicated themselves instead of Sigmar to one of these gods and sort of prayed for their help in this quest into Athel.
Heathens.
Well, what I quite like about this is I quite like the idea that you have some guys that go, no, I'm going to make a distinctly an elf priest.
Yeah.
And as they enter the forest, they're approached by this elf priest who like beseeches their general and says, let me join you. So this is when we talk a little bit about those design cues. Let me join you. I can aid you in this quest to stop or to help Thalandor. Or it might be as they go in, you kind of have like a sort of, for you biblical scholars out there, like a sort of St. Paul on the road to Damascus type event where you have like a, say a priest, a warrior priest, or maybe a captain of the Empire. He falls to his knees, he sees like the great light of Lilith come to him from the forest and convince him to join,
I'm gonna just nod and agree with what you said there.
So it could be that you decide to make it. So say you're doing Empire, because it's a good example. You could decide to make an Empire character that you theme to Lilith, or you could instead decide to go, no, I'm going to do like the example in the pack. It was a Mistweaver Saith.
Yep.
Also the Lizman Priest of Vault.
Yeah. So John, cheers, bruv.
Cheers, bruv.
He built the Lizardman one for us. He said, I want to lose my brother. I can say that. He decided he was going to have a skink priest who'd kind of had a vision of a Vol, and so the one in the pack, the example is actually of a Lizardman priest that he's converted up to be a Vol priest. Whereas for Lilith, I did the Mistweaver, which is sort of like a very indescript elf. There's kind of dark elf and high elf elements.
It's got the mirrored mask that the Bloodwreck Shrine handlers have.
The dagger's quite dark elfy, but then I think the moon symbol on the head is very high elves and kind of association with Lilith is obvious there. So. But this is the idea. You can kind of, these are something for you to explore a bit of extra hobby on. So when you dedicate, as Scott said, you get a priest for free.
You do.
Of the relevant god.
Yeah. So the stat line of the priests, I think I'm right in saying, is the same.
Yeah, they're all got the same stat line.
They're all the same stats. They can be mounted on a horse as well, just your basic war horse. And depending on the army that you're using, they can either go on a 20mm or 25mm base, whatever sort of fits better with your army. You choose the size. Yep, you just choose.
Or 40mm base.
No.
Ogres?
Nobles.
Nobles.
No. Still that novel unit.
Still infantry, aren't they? Not monsters.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, so if depending on the god that you dedicate your army to, your whole army gets a bonus, and then you also get access to 2 unique magic items from that god, effectively, which don't have to, can't go on your priest. I was going to say don't have to go on your priest, can't go on your priest. They're just for your other characters in your army.
Just a generic character.
Yeah.
Because the priest is free, you're not having to lose anything to include the priest, are you? Which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So each of the god's dedications, as Scott said, gives you an army-wide bonus. So we'll have a little fish through those and give you guys some sort of thought process behind them, I guess.
Yeah,
we designed these as a group, didn't we? The army bonuses.
Yeah, so we'll start with Azurian, and the army-wide bonus is Creator's Courage. So all models in the army add 1 to their leadership characteristic to a maximum of 10.
Handy.
Yeah, good. So I think Armies of the Oak. Let's go through them. It's a little bit further up. Some teams, I think it's here.
There we go.
Yep.
The Armies of the Oak. So these are the ones that can dedicate to Azurian, Lilith, or Vol. So they are dwarves, tomb kings, lizard men, high elves, empire, Bretonians, orcs and goblins, and ogre kingdoms. And servants of the Wildwood, who can dedicate to Hecate, Cain, and Kurnos, or Kurnos, are wood elves, Skaven, dark elves, warriors of chaos, demons of chaos, chaos dwarves, beastmen, and vampire counters.
Now, I will point out that when you take the priest in a demon's army, they basically become a demon.
Yep.
They get demonic, and if you take them in an undead army, they gain the relevant undead rule. So if you, really helpfully this time, the vampires and the Tomb Kings are on opposite sides. So for the goody priest, they just gain the Kharon undead if they go in a Tomb King army. And for the villains, they just gain undead, basically, which is pretty cool. So it just makes it nice and easy, so you haven't got to worry about can they join units and all this. It's all covered in the pack, which is sweet.
Yes.
So, Azurian-wise?
So yeah, Azurian was +1 to your leadership characteristic to a maximum of 10. Very good, helps you stick around.
Quite a lot of armies get a good touch on that one.
Yeah, Dwarves do.
Dwarves, yeah, they've got a lot of good leadership access, to be fair.
Yeah.
So
it does make your basic troops leadership 10.
It does make your core troops leadership 10, which is pretty spicy. I really like this one, because orcs and goblins are actually on the goodies this time. So I really like this for goblins. I think this is ace for them. I think it's
basic
all 3 are quite good for Empire, I think.
Yeah.
But because Empire are the kind of all-rounders, aren't they? They can do a bit of everything, but I don't think you can look far past this one on Bretonians either.
Yes.
I think this is ace for Bretonians.
Yeah. Although the Duke is 9, I want to say, Duke Albrecht.
Yes.
He's a bit further down. So it'd be nice, pop him up to 10, I suppose.
Well, it's all units though, isn't it? So
yeah,
even like your,
even ones
even
out
like your peasants, your stuff like your Growl relics, which are stubborn, get a bump on leadership. It's not too sad, that one. Magic item wise, shall we chat about those?
That's Lilia's page. So the 2 magic items are the Phoenix Ruby, which is a talisman for 40 points. It's 1 use only. The first time the bearer is removed as a casualty, you roll a d6. On the roll of a 2+, the bearer is restored to life on 1 wound. However, so terrifying is this unnatural process that for the remainder, you spelled remainder wrong, of the game, the bearer and any unit they had to enter lose their Creator's Courage leadership bonus.
2 proofreaders didn't get remainder.
Don't chuck this on us now here, come on.
Fortunately, I've got time to fix it before we drop the slightly.
So it won't be misspelt in the pack that you see, it's just misspelt in the pack that I'm seeing.
So yeah, you come back to life, pretty good.
Yeah. So the idea is that literally as you die, the ruby cracks, and a la Harry Potter when Dumbledore dissipates into the Phoenix, you get that big fiery Phoenix, and you come back to life on a wing, which terrifies all your mates.
He's the creator god, man, Azurian. So why not? Very cool. Good. Again, I'm looking at Bretonian BSB there and thinking, very good on him. Very scary.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Hierophants.
Yeah, that's a great shout. Yeah. Hierophant. So
cheeky Hierophant.
What about that? Cheeky Hierophant comes back to life.
Although to be fair, if your Hierophant's dead, he probably means he's in combat, which means he's gonna just die again next turn.
Whoa!
Well, not if the unit crumbles out.
Not if he gets saved by a beautiful countercharge. Lots of good options there. Oil of Azurian. That's the other one.
Oil of Azurian is the other one. It's an enchanted item, 15 points. The bearer has a 2-up ward save against flaming attacks. In addition, the bearer and any unit they join cause fear in enemy units which have flaming attacks. This includes wizards who have spells which cause flaming hits, etc.
So it's kind of the flaming attacks cause fear in cavalry. This guy causes fear in dudes with flaming attacks because he's, so
The idea is
horrifying.
he's impervious to their
So
attacks.
so glistening.
Yeah. Well, this is meant to be the oils that they pour onto the Phoenix Kings
It's to
before they
protect them from
pass
flame.
into the flame of Azurian.
As they cheat through the flames.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have to cheat. So
they've got the cheat codes down at this point.
Yeah.
Up, down, right, left, square,
Yeah.
square. Oh,
bumper
oh,
bumper, LR. So yeah, but again, I think it's that sort of. It's a useful little item.
Yeah.
It's quite fun. It's not
Not
too
too
sort of
expensive.
hardcore for its points. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a bit different.
And then obviously you get to take a Priest of Azurian as well if you dedicate your army to Azurian. As we said, the Priests are free. Don't have to save any points for them.
They have a very average stat line.
Yeah,
They're sort of fours.
lots
across
of
the board.
fours. They're essentially a lord, so they've got 3 wounds.
Like Captain the Empire of a Lord stat line. Or
It's just basically generally
just generally
Empire
Empire.
does weapon
Yeah.
skill 4
Yeah,
and initiative 4 instead of 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
And less leadership. So not really.
That's the closest I can get to it.
so all the priests have a 5-up ward save, and they can all also channel power and dispel dice like they were a wizard.
Yep.
And they also give the unit they are with a special rule depending on which priest you choose. So the Priest of Azurian has the Gift of Azurian. The priest and any unit he is currently in have the Aura Strikes First special rule. However, other characters in the unit do not gain Aura Strikes First.
No,
Ooh.
but that's spicy. That's a great special
That
rule,
is
isn't it?
spicy.
Yeah, it's very good. They also have 2 bound spells each. One of them is the same, essentially, across all of the priests, which is Beseech the Gods. The priest controlling player immediately gains a mission point, which we'll look at more when we look at the missions.
More on that later.
And both of these, so I should have said both of these bound spells are power level 5 for the Priest of Azurian. Are they all power
They're
level?
all power level
They're
5.
all power level 5.
Makes it easy to remember.
It does. And then the other spell is a spell from one of the 8 laws of battle magic, but it's different for each priest.
Priest, correct.
So the Priest of Azurian has Light of Battle from the Law of Light. So it's all around that sort of making you stick around, that sort of courage, you're not going anywhere, you're not breaking. That's sort of the idea of the Priest of Azurian.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's all stick around. He's got a halberd as well.
He does.
Each of the priests have a different weapon to sort of best represent their god.
Yeah.
And
He has heavy armour on a halberd.
Yes. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Which he can use when he's on a horse. I know traditionally they can't, but we'll say he can.
You can use halberds on horse.
Yeah.
You have to have cavalry halberd, I think. It's like a special empire rule. I don't think anything else
No.
can take a halberd on a
No.
horse.
No, they just take a halberd.
They just take a halberd.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought maybe it's a different edition where you can use it on a
Yeah,
horse. Maybe.
You, you're too old to remember this edition,
Yeah,
apparently.
so should we move on?
On to Liliath then. And her army-wide bonus is Moonlight Blessings. When calculating combat resolution for a combat that includes 1 or more units with this bonus, add 1 to the total of the units with this bonus. Please note that this is 1 point of combat resolution per close combat, not per unit in the combat.
Yeah, you can't just put like 3 fast cab units in and be like, I've got +3 combat res. That would be a bit too dirty.
It would be quite good.
It's basically like having a war banner
Everyone.
on every unit in your army.
And I like the idea of that.
Yeah.
And it stacks on your war banner.
And it does stack on your war
Yeah.
banner.
I do like the idea of that because I love me a war banner.
You love you a war banner.
I do love me a war banner.
I don't know why.
Yeah, it's I think this one of the 3 for the goodies, this one is the most consistent, which is probably the least kind of. It will feel at first glance, I think, the least explosive. Because I think the +1 leadership, actually, when you start thinking about it across an army on every turn, it's got like value.
Yeah.
Whereas I think this only obviously has value when you get into combat, but it's really punchy when you get into combat.
Yeah.
So I think this one's a safe bet.
I think this is quite a good one for dwarves.
Yes, I think this is good for.
Bretonians?
Weirdly, I think this one's really good for high elves.
Yeah.
This is probably the one I'd pick for high elves.
Yeah, they don't really need the leadership because they just generally don't run.
No,
They're
they've
either
got good
stubborn or a new
leadership.
psych or...
Yeah, they've got good access
Yeah.
to leadership. I think having the extra combat resolution's really nice for them. The priest as well. I like the interaction with the priest's abilities, and I like the items for high elves. Overall, I think this should probably be the one I'd pick for them.
Speaking of the items, the first one is the Shard of the Star Crown, which is an arcane item for 40 points. Once per game at the start of an enemy magic phase, after power and dispel dice have been generated, declare that you are using the Shard of the Star Crown. For the duration of that magic phase, any dispel attempt made by the bearer of this item, which include a double, are considered to be dispelled with irresistible force, as if they had rolled 2 or more 6s in the dispel attempt.
It's good.
Yeah, I like it. I think it'll be interesting to see whether people go for this on their level 4, because that's who they're going to be dispelling with most of the time, if they have level 4, or put it on like a hero level, sort of level 2 wizard or something, and just go, well, the turn I use it, I'll just throw all the dice with them and just hope I get lots of doubles. Because it doesn't matter if I had 4 or 2. I'm just looking
Double's
for
a
doubles.
double at that point.
Well, that's it. That's the thing. I'm just looking for doubles. So I think it's
Speaking of level 1.
it's certainly got interesting applications. This one, and it's not an item that I've ever seen anything like it. So I think it's quite cool.
No. Yeah, I think that'll be interesting. And the second one is the Ring of the Waning Moon. It's a talisman for 35 points. It's magic. So magic weapons lose all of their magical properties when making attacks in close combat against the bearer of the ring. Treat the weapon as a mundane weapon of its type instead, i.e. the Ogre Blade is treated as a hand weapon. Yeah, I think that's very good.
That was another one I look at on BSBs, but I think the fact it's a talisman makes it really solid on even like wizards and stuff as well.
Yeah.
You could have a level 4 wizard with both of those on it.
You could. You could.
Very different.
Blinged out.
Blinged out.
Yeah, very cool.
With the crown and the ring.
Got the ring on the little finger. On that
Pinky ring. But I think we wanted with her to...
it's all about sort of protection, isn't it?
She is, yeah, that's very much her jam as a prophetess. And, as a sort of... She's as sort of like she's the goddess of... I can't remember now, it's going to annoy me. Like healing,
yeah.
And I think just like...
And that's Aisha.
No, that's
isn't it?
Aisha.
No,
her
Isha,
mother.
yeah. I think she's all about like enemy fell magics, basically. Like she's sort of always
Protection?
doing battle with
Might be
like
protection.
Hecate, basically.
Yeah.
So
She's the anti-Hecate.
yeah, she's sort of trying to stop those dark sorceries, and we
Yeah.
wanted to try and capture that in both of her items.
Yeah, so her priest, the priest of Liliath, again, same stat line, lots of 4s, 3 wounds, couple of attacks. She's got heavy armour, hand weapon and shield. Also, should have said, all of the priests can never be a general.
Yes, yeah. No generally.
Yeah, no generaling. So the gift of Liliath. The priest and any unit they are currently in have the fighting extra rank special rule. However, other characters in the unit do not gain fighting extra ranks.
Also good for goblin armies, orc armies.
Yeah, that is good. Not as good for high elves because they already have it. Does stack though.
It's the only rule,
So
one of the only 2 special rules that stack.
If you have really deep units, not bad.
Well, you look at like a unit of say like Sea Guard, and you can run them like 5 wide and have like 5x5, 25. Not a huge investment.
Yeah.
They get charged. Every model in that unit attacks.
Yeah.
On a 100 wide frontage. That's ace.
6x5. That could be 6x5. That'd be quite cool.
Yeah. Lots of dice being thrown.
Yeah.
They
are only strength 3. But
and you look at something like a block of say White Lions or Swordmasters with that optimised kind of 7 wide frontage. That's 4 ranks fighting.
yeah.
28 models.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. Also, the bound spell, I think, is ace as well for high
Yeah,
elves.
so again, she's got Beseech the Gods on a 5, and she's also got Harmonic Convergence from the Law of Heavens. Very good.
Re-rolling ones.
To hit, to wound, and armour saves.
Yeah, really strong on high strength units, combat units. Also really good with the shooting that high elves can muster.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Also good on dwarves. I think, again, going back to that, I think it's very good for the dwarves. The Shard of the Star Crown is very good for dwarves as well.
I don't know if they can take it. Don't think
Oh,
they
they
can take
can't.
it because it's arcane.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one
Never
they
mind.
can't take. But yeah, good idea.
Otherwise.
I think the thing we tried really hard to do with the dedications was to make each army have 2 that feel really good for them at least. And some armies like Empire will get a benefit from
Pretty
all
good
of
on all
these.
of them, yeah. Depending on the type of army you go for.
Yeah, absolutely. Shall we have a look at
Vol, the last
Vol.
one for the armies of the Oak.
Volley boy.
So, Vol's army-wide bonus is Artisan Guidance. Models in this army never suffer the penalty for shooting at long range.
prescriptive,
yeah,
but strong in that
yeah.
type of build.
Again, good for dwarves.
Good for lizard men. This one
Yeah, he's good for
There with
wizards.
your skinks.
with your skinks
And your stags with the giant
The giant
blowpipes.
camos. Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, like this one for lizard men, and so does John, which is why he made that
Why
lizard
he made
man
Lizard
priest.
priest. So yeah, the first magic item is the Hammer of Vol, which is obviously a magic weapon, 45 points. It's a hand weapon. Close combat attacks made with the hammer do not have a strength value. Instead, they wound their target on a dice score equal to the unmodified armor save of the target unit / model. So a model with a 4+ armor save will be successfully wounded by this weapon on a roll of a 4+. Rolls with a 1 to wound always fail. And against the target without an armor save, this weapon only successfully wounds the target on the roll of a 6. No armor saves are permitted against hits from the Hammer of Vol, and these attacks are flaming.
Searing Doom in a hammer.
All the
In a
words.
hammer.
It is Searing Doom in a hammer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid.
I like the
Solid.
gamble effect with that though. I like the fact that I'm taking it against well armoured targets. It's amazing against knights, but it's rubbish against Skaven slaves.
Yeah.
I like the fact that I've got to kind of make a decision and go. But again, I look at a Saurus character and think he's probably got the
one up.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, although again, he's still only wounded in Skaven slaves on the 6. So
Yes, yeah, it does.
it's a big call, isn't it? It's a big call, that one. But cool item, very different.
Put it on your slam.
You slant.
The frog touch.
Yeah.
This next one though, I think's very good for lizardmen, dwarves, high elves as well, empire. It's good for a lot of armies. This next one.
So this is Artisan's Aegis. You spell Arstan wrong as well. You put Aristans.
Oh yeah.
We are
Love
professional.
my prefixes. Do you know what I mean?
Artisan's
Play
Aegis. Magic
You
armor.
both read it.
And you made it.
20 points. This is models on foot only. It's a shield. The bearer of the Artisan's Aegis and any unit they join are treated as defending an obstacle when fighting an enemy in their front facing. So defending an obstacle means you don't get any charging bonuses.
Nope.
Essentially.
Lances,
Lances,
heavy
heavy
charge.
charge.
Yeah.
And that's unit specific as well. Like Skull Crushers don't get +1 charge. The Juggers.
Yeah.
Demons of Khorne lose all their Demons of Khorne rule.
Yeah.
They lose all of it.
So
Yeah.
charge them in a flank is the answer.
Yeah.
Mm.
Shoot them. Well, that might be tricky for the Demons of Khorne.
Unless you take all zinc.
Just
Challenging.
take lots of skull cannons.
Yeah.
Two is lots of skull cannons.
That is quite a lot. But yeah, good. As you said, for those different armies, stops you getting sort of really hit by those like night charges with the lances, things like that. Dwarves, I think that's particularly good on.
I like lizardmen a lot as well.
Yeah.
Bloxosaurus or Temple Guard with a guy in the front row. Bosh.
Yeah.
That's well scary.
You can take that guy. You take that guy and take also like Gorok. The double the shield in the front of a unit.
Can't have special characters though. If
No,
you
if you
take
say
the
any special
event
characters.
character,
If
so-
you want to play like that, you can go
Yeah.
like the
Do
Bretonian
the shield.
like the Bretonian law with a double shield. The Orc-Bane
The
shield.
Orc-Bane shield. It's not shield. So the priest of all then, he has got a great weapon as well as heavy armor. His gift of all is him and the unit he is in treat their armor save as 1 point higher than normal. However, other characters again do not gain the bonus. So he effectively counts his armor save as a 4+. Very good.
And his unit obviously
And his units get
of
+1
Iron
as well.
Breakers have a 2+.
So that's like units like Saurus Warriors will have a 3-up, Temple Guard have a 2-up, 3-up if they're in combat.
Great
Yeah.
swords on a 3-up.
With a 3-up. Bretonian Knights will have a 1-up.
Woohoo!
Why do you get that 1-up for your Bretonian army?
Woohoo! Yes, good.
Yes.
Good. And his bound spell, again, he's got Beseech the Gods, and his other one is Enchanted Blades of Aben from the Law of Metal. Really good. So +1
Super
to
solid.
armor piercing,
And magical attacks.
magical and flaming.
No, just magical.
Just magical.
Yeah,
It's flaming sword gives you flaming.
Yeah.
that is correct, yeah.
But yeah, very good.
Wasn't going to pull it up.
Yeah, very good. Little spell, especially on 5.
So I think if you're Armies of the Oak, you've got one that's sort of conventionally more defensive, one that's going to be sort of really hard to break down, and actually quite offensive with the buff from the priest with Azurian, and then Lilith is kind of magically very defensive, but
Combat resi, very
combat,
offensive.
very consistently offensive with the combat res. So you've got to kind of make those tough decisions about what you feel benefits your army best.
Yeah, I think... I'm not sure if people will, but I think you could even go, right, I want to dedicate my army to Mavul. Now I'm going to build my army. Maybe choose a faction and go, I want to dedicate to Mavul, now I'm going to build around that. Rather than going, I've built my army, what should I dedicate it to?
Yeah, I think there's loads of cool stuff happening there, and I think that when we look at missions, we'll see even more why. There's going to be a temptation, I think, for people to be like, I think this is the most powerful, I'm going to do this. But that might not necessarily make all the difference when you start looking at the quality of the missions.
The actual army missions, yeah.
So, shall we have a look at the villainous dedications?
Yeah, move on to the
The
Servants of
baddie
the
gods.
Wildwood. So the first one is Kurnos. So his army-wide bonus is Hunter's Instinct. All models in the army add 1 to their pursuit rolls.
That is offensively
Yeah.
terrifying. There's a lot of armies that
Yes.
break you on the charge. Wood elves. I'm a big fan of this with them. I'm a big fan of it with dark elves. And even like Warriors of Chaos. I don't think Warriors of Chaos have a bad one.
No.
Or demons. I could see.
Big fan of this on,
Yeah.
on the pigs.
Yeah. Yeah, on the pigs. The little pig that could.
nice.
The Tamworth too.
We now know who they are.
Magic item wise. And it's worth saying demons of Chaos armies can exchange a greater gift for one of these as if they were a magic weapon. So even if it's not a magic weapon, so one of these is a talisman, if you have a greater gift on one of your characters, you can swap this for that item. So the first one is very much a magic weapon, the Spear of the Hunt, which is 50 points. Close combat attacks made with the Spear of the Hunt have the multiple wounds D3 special rule. In addition, the spear may be used as a throwing weapon with the following profile: 12-inch range, strength as user, multiple wounds D3, quick to fire, and sniper.
Suddenly, Battle Artisan's aegis, mate. Yeah!
I mean, we've had a lot of people. So I think Dave Church came back to us. He managed to Herald of Corn with Bliss Skill 7. Yeah!
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Also, that Bliss Skill 7, like the Herald of Corn, like, well, why has he got Bliss Skill 7? This
That's
is the reason.
why.
It's 12 years down the line, this is the reason why.
This is the reason, the Spear of the
The
Hunt.
sniper Spear of the Hunt.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Very cool.
And then the second one is the Sigil of the Beast Slayer, which is a talisman for 35 points. The bearer has a 3-up ward save against attacks made by models with a monster, monstrous beast, or monstrous cavalry unit type. This ward save applies to all types of attacks: stomps, thunderstomps, breath weapons, etc. In the case of riddle monsters and monstrous cavalry, this ward save may only be taken against the attacks made by the mount, not the rider. Yeah.
Sort of like a pigeon plucker pendant.
But for monsters,
But for monsters,
really
and
good
monsters
wall
of all
save.
kinds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a better ward save.
No, it's alright, I think it's decent.
Yeah, 35 points, not bad at all.
Get your Herald of Corn with that as well. You're like, going all in with the Herald of Corn. They're going all in the corn here.
So the Priest of Kurnos, he has got heavy armour, a spear and a shield.
Obviously.
And his gift is him and any unit he is in have the Devastating Charge special rule. Again, characters don't gain it. Good.
Yeah,
Very
again,
good.
back
Good.
to your corn.
Demon
Back
of
to
Corn.
corn.
Yeah.
All these corn, all these
Good, but
corn.
I like it on Sinesh, I like it on Dark Elves again, I like it on
Yeah.
things like Witches Executioners,
Yeah.
who's Devastating
Witches
Charge.
with Devastating Charge.
Oh yeah, why
Because
not?
they don't have enough attack.
4 attacks apiece.
You get it on the Executioners,
Oh
mate.
my word.
Yeah,
Only
the witches
exclusions.
might kill the priest though.
They might kill
They
the
might
priest.
kill the
And then
priest.
there's a chance they could kill the priest because the priest ain't got a good arm save.
4 plus.
4 plus got shield.
Got
4
shit.
plus, 5 plus. He might
I
survive.
think he goes in the Executioners though.
Yeah.
And I think he makes them really scary.
I like the idea. I like a black guy.
Or thinking of Ilaria, Corsairs.
Yeah.
Corsair.
Oh.
Additional weapon Corsairs.
Yes. See, this is the thing that's cool. It's that thing of going, what's the new, it's completely new out there option that I can put this down.
Blood
buy down
Debbie
with.
Charge.
Yeah. And then actually thinking of Ilaria Cold Eye in particular, that bound spell.
Yeah. Yeah. So the priest of Kurnos bound spell is Savage Beast of Horus from Lore of Beasts.
She's 12 points too.
Just giving her another 3 strength for 3 attacks.
And then you have like the Red Duke as well. You give him Savage Beast.
Yep.
That'd be terrifying. All those heralds. Herald of Corn. Give him Devastating.
I'll be honest, the Herald of Zinch at that point is
He's
quite
good.
scary.
Yeah, he's good.
Moving on to Hecate. So her army-wide bonus is Gorgon's Fury. All models in your army gain this bonus. When a model with this bonus rolls a 6 to hit in close combat, it immediately makes another attack. Roll to hit and to wound as normal. Attacks generated by this bonus do not generate further attacks. Finally, models with this bonus must always pursue. They can never test to restrain.
It's Predatory Fighter.
Pretty much.
In all but name,
Yeah.
it's Predatory Fighter.
Yeah, pretty much. Very good though, very solid, especially in armies that have lots of attacks.
Skaven.
Yeah, Skaven, Dark Elves, I
Demons
think very
Sinesh.
good.
Demons
Yeah,
of Sinesh.
Sineshi Demons.
Warriors of Chaos.
Warriors
Well,
of Chaos.
all of these were good for Warriors of Chaos, but
Yeah.
yeah, they've got the dice and the punch to get it done.
Even Wood Elves,
Yeah.
Tree Spirits. Think
Yeah,
very
lots
good
of
on
dice
them.
on
Yeah,
tree
lots of
spirits.
dice,
Yeah, yeah.
And then her magic item, so Serpent Staff of Hecate, arcane item, for 25 points. If a spell cast by the bearer does a random number of hits, the bearer can choose to re-roll the result for determining the number of hits the spell inflicts. If the spell does multiple numbers of dice, you must re-roll all or none. Yeah,
Then we give a little example.
yeah, we do. Just give a little example.
Just give a little example.
Um,
Good though. Again, back to Dark Elves, looking at your Doom Bolts, looking at your fireballs for your Warriors of Chaos armies, because they need that consistency in chaff
Will this
class.
affect Spiteful Conjuration from the Lore of Dark Magic?
That's a lot of attributes, so I'd say no, because the spell doesn't
Yeah,
number
the
hits,
spell,
not the
okay.
attribute.
That's fine.
So yeah, that's a good one to point out though.
Laura Zinch has a lot of random hits on their spells.
Yes, they do.
Unlike the Infernal Gateway, in which you get 2d, the amount of hits you get and everything like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's also worth saying, because this is only 25 points, Demons of Chaos can exchange a lesser gift for the
that
Serpent
one.
Staff rather than a greater, and then a greater gift for the Gorgon's Mane, which we'll get onto now, which is an enchanted item for 50 points. The bearer of this item is immune to poison attacks. You must roll to wound as normal against them. In addition, once per game during the close combat phase, instead of making normal attacks, the bearer of the Gorgon's Mantle, Mane, I'm assuming that's meant to be, may attempt to petrify an enemy model. Select one model in base contact with the bearer. They must immediately take an initiative test. If the test is passed, they averted their gaze in time and there is no further effect. However, if the test is failed, the target model is removed from play with no saves of any kind allowed. This petrify attack is made at the initiative step of the bearer.
Don't be an ogre.
Don't be an ogre.
Both me and you quite like this. I'm like,
I think this is really funny.
Don't be anyone who's had their initiative dropped by Melkovs.
Yeah, don't fight against Demons of Sinesh character with that.
Yeah.
So you see her, she's a beast, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. And Demons of Sinesh, they're all very quick, so they're probably going to go first and petrify you before you attack.
Yeah.
It's like the new man catcher.
Moving on to the priest then. So this priest has just got 2 hand weapons, heavy armor and 2 hand weapons. The gift they give them and their unit poison attacks. Again, doesn't affect characters. Very good with their army-wide bonus. You get the auto, the auto wound on the poison, and then you get another attack as well.
Yeah,
very good.
I think this was interesting when we were putting this one together. We were talking about this one looks obviously really strong. There's no point in us pretending it doesn't. It looks obviously absolutely amazing because it's like, well, I can get loads of extra attacks, but in reality, when you start statting it out,
you don't
actually get that many.
We've already got an army out there with like Lisbon who already have this rule. And you see it get like maybe 1 or 2 or 3 extra attacks.
You got to look and say even if
if
they're really good weapon skill like 5 and they're hitting on a 3, I'm trying to think of like say they're Warriors of Chaos and they're in a horde and they've got like 40 attacks. You're going to score an additional like 4 hits.
Yeah.
I mean it's good, but
it's not groundbreaking.
It's not game breaking.
You know, it's not like the end of the game. But I think that the perception when you look at it is, oh wow. But would I rather have like +1
obviously
to my shoes, and the next one I also think is really strong. So then it's a case of going, well, actually, what do I want?
Yeah, and then finally for the priest, her other bound spell is Soul Blight from the Law of Death. Now there's a little caveat on Soul Blight because it can be used in a Skaven army. So the Soul Blight, the minus toughness and strength from Soul Blight is applied after any effects from the Skaven spell Wither. This means it cannot be used to remove a unit faster. So you can't Soul Blight them with a priest down to toughness 2, to toughness 1, and then wither them down to toughness 0. The Wither takes effect first, even if it's cast.
It takes effect second.
Second.
No,
first. The Wither takes effect
first.
The
Wither, sorry, I thought you meant the Soul Blight.
The Wither takes effect first, even if it's cast afterwards.
Yeah.
You have to get rid of those units the old-fashioned way, cast them multiple times or take them off the board.
Yes.
Because otherwise
it just makes Wither even better.
Cheating.
Yeah. Yes. Overall though, very strong for Hecate. Moving on to the final one, which is dedications to Cain. So the army-wide bonus they get is Murderous Rage. All models in your army add 1 to any charge rolls they make. This is used to calculate whether a charge is a successful or a failed charge.
This makes armies quick. Combat armies like Warriors of Chaos, Vampire Counts,
Demons of God,
Khornes, even Demons of Nurgle though. Like a bit of this. This is really strong with them. Because they're like, particularly if you're a slightly slower army as well. Because this is getting you forward. You only look at something like Max's big unit of Chaos Dwarf Warriors, gives them the standard of +1 movement, and then gives them this, and they're really chopping up some distance for charging.
2-6 plus a high elf movement.
Yeah, they're now basically charging like high elf, which is great. So
terrifying, but great.
You can't knock that. It's very consistent, I think.
Yeah, it is. And then on to the magic items. So Gauntlets of Murder first, magic armor, 30 points. The bearer counts their armor save as being 1 point higher than normal. In addition, the bearer must issue a challenge if they can do so, and may never refuse a challenge. When fighting in a challenge, the bearer rerolls fail to hits and has the Killing Blow special rule.
Good for a warrior. Got to issue a challenge anyway.
You do have to issue the challenge to the warrior.
Yeah.
It's quite nice.
Get them Killing Blow, reroll fail to hit.
Sparring champion for the warrior is Killing Blows and he turns into a demon prince afterwards.
I really like this sort of thing on like on like your Skaven assassins and stuff like that as well. I just think it's like really fun.
Reroll hit, get him low. Yeah.
Yeah, very good on Dark Elves as well with the reroll
Yeah.
wound potential with rerolling ones. So
Yeah, you do reroll to hit probably anyway with Dark Elves.
Yeah, probably.
So you are losing out on
So
that.
you're losing out on some of that. But this is the thing. It's that thing of going, well, do I want like belts and braces or do I want to not? I mean, I don't know if I would. I think the other two are really good for Dark Elves, I've already said as well. So
Yeah. And the Mask of Cain then, which is an enchanted item, again at 30 points. The bearer of this item has the Frenzy special rule. However, instead of conferring the extra attack special rule, the Frenzy granted from this item confers an additional D3 attacks instead. Roll each time the bearer attacks. Furthermore, the bearer can never lose this Frenzy. Always
Terrifying.
frenzied.
and always plus D3 attacks. Very scary.
Always psychopathic.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be good on.
Yeah.
There's no point in even.
Pretending.
I mean, pretending. Yeah, there's lots of even like average stuff. When you start looking at that volume of attacks, becomes really, really strong.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, and on to the priest then. So he again has got heavy armour and he's got a flail, so +2 strength in that first round of combat. Yeah.
Swings it first, obviously.
Yeah, you got to build up momentum. So you take the bond straight off.
It's so heavy, you're losing. You're oh!
That's why you're only strength normal strength in the next round of combat. Mate.
He actually lose grip.
Basically loses it, just lobs it through the ranks.
And the gift then that they give to them and their unit is the hatred special rule. Very good. Again, doesn't
We've all
apply
seen
to
how
characters.
good that works with warrior priests.
Again, really strong on almost any flavour of demon Barzinch, but with the poison interactions with
You can get-
Nurgle, really powerful.
So you can get hatred from Demons Corners anyway, but this is free, whereas that one is 60 points.
Yeah,
It's a lot
don't
of
forget the exalted heralds have
their own
exalted
locus.
locus, and they're not exalted, are they? They're
Exalted.
No, they're not. They're malevolent.
Vamp.
They're malevolent heralds, and they have a
No,
malevolent
malevolent.
locust.
Malevolent,
and the
not benevolent.
malevolent. Yeah, the malevolent locust is basically upper level again, because the exalted locust is the top locust in the book.
Yes.
The malevolent locust is one above that, so it takes that out of play as well. So there's that to bear in mind
The
too.
tippy top of Locus.
Yes. And speaking of Flaming Sword of Ruin earlier, that is the other bound spell that the Priest of Cain has.
So many good interactions with that.
He's really good Warriors Curse. Hatred on your big block of warriors.
+1 to wound.
+1 to wound. Put in your trolls.
But-
Hatred on your trolls and +1 to wound.
But is it better than poison attacks on your big block?
That's
And -1 strength and
I
toughness
believe
for the
that
enemy?
now comes down to personal preference.
Or is it better than +1 to all those pursue rolls when you're going to break them because you're Warriors of Chaos?
That's what they do.
That's what they do.
That's what they do,
really
baby.
strong and devastating charge on the unit warrior. So this is what I like. I like the fact that I'm sitting there thinking,
I think it's personal
Lots of
preference
options.
playstyle.
you know,
Yeah, and
Really
I don't.
awesome.
Yeah, I don't think there's many armies that don't have at least 2 solid options.
Well, look, we
depending
worked-
on how you build. the army.
although you might not think it at home, we've actually worked really hard to try and make these dedications feel like everyone has a choice and everyone has a couple of good options. That was really important to us in the way that we designed this pack, because we knew that was going to be the real kind of standout feature, because it totally decides how your armies are played.
Yeah.
So moving on from that, we'll have a chat about the other thing that really changes how the game is played, which is of course the missions.
Yeah, which is why I was frantically scrolling to. as you
Yeah,
were
I guess
talking.
she was. So with this time with the missions, we wanted to kind of emphasise the clash of the gods as well. So we tried to sort of
There's a little sort of tagline on the first 3 missions.
that mention the gods
which mention
specifically.
the sort of specific gods which are sort of fighting over this part of Athel Loren, because these all take place in different areas of Athel Loren.
In fact, if you look at your map, they actually snake southwards through.
So you can see the sort of journey that the armies are making.
The armies are
through Athel
taking.
Loren,
Yeah.
which end up in the
Wildwood.
darkness of the Wildwood.
Wildwood. Bottom right, if you look at a map, right down there on the bottom end, which
Well,
is
it depends what way up you got on it.
well, where the words are the correct way up would be the way I'd do it.
They might be printed the other way around.
Okay, yeah, they're not. So
Well, they might be. Someone might have printed a map at home and written the words the other way around.
Someone might have spent, as they said, 20 hours working on that map and
Yeah.
then misspelt the names on the map and put it the other way around.
They might have done that.
in the southeast corner of Athel Loren, because you know
Better.
what, that you can't argue with.
Better.
So you're just being petty and it's hot. So first one up is Battle of Eternal Moonlight.
Yep, so this is Liliath and Hecata's battle for supremacy. All about that magic.
Yeah, it is this one. So unlike when you play normal games of Warhammer, and if you've watched any of the battles from the previous packs on the channel, so Light of Albion specifically, the way these missions are scored is all about mission points. So you don't sort of score it on VPs, you score it on hitting the kind of mission criteria. Now, as we mentioned earlier, the priests all have a bound spell that allows you to score mission points when you cast it. So that's going to be vital to whether you win or lose. He's going to
keep the priest alive.
Again, when that priest is free, all you got to do is do a bit of core modelling and paint him up or her up. Why would you not be doing that and getting them in? You can make your missions better. The person with the most mission points at the end of each game is the winner. If it's equal numbers, they draw. Now, in mission 1, the objectives are as follows.
So all of the missions have key players. So if your army includes one of the named event special characters, then you start the game with a mission point.
Get your special characters going.
Easy enough. We've designed, 20 of them for this event? 19 of them for this event?
Something like that,
yeah. So it'll be 19.
Yeah, 19 different special characters. There should be something cool in there that tickles your fancy. And if you take them, not only do you get to upgrade units in a different way and play your army differently and have something core new, you also get a bonus for your missions.
You do.
So it should be a clear feel. It should be get into the narrative, take the characters that are driving the story, take the priests that are driving the story, take all the kind of stuff that drives the story, and actually you'll win a lot more of your games as well.
Yeah. But the first Game 1 specific objective is Sorcerer's Duel. You immediately score a mission point each time you successfully dispel an enemy spell.
And this is something I really like, that I think we did well with the missions, and is that now we're going back to our dedications and we're starting to think about things. And I'm like, you know what? I'd sure like to have a Lilith dedication in this game. Dispelling enemy spells, so I'll be getting my Shard of the Star Crown out this turn.
Pull out the bling.
Massive.
Pull out the bling.
So
get the jewelry box going.
And then the second mission-specific objective is Slay the Witch. Immediately score 1 mission point each time an enemy wizard is killed. Furthermore, if at the end of the game your opponent has no wizards alive and on the tabletop, you gain an additional 3 mission points. Priests of the Pantheon are not considered wizards for this purpose. Runesmiths, Rune Lords and Graf Bittersteel, however, are considered wizards for the purpose of this mission.
The dwarves don't get a jail free card.
No, they do not.
Yeah, so this is the thing that's going to be interesting then, because then you're going, well, I need to push on to try and kill the enemy wizards as well. But if I kill them too quickly, I won't be able to dispel enough of their spells to score the other mission.
Yeah.
So I've got now a whole dynamic in my brain of getting them off, but maybe not too quickly. And then do I leave it too late and they live? I quite like this. This is what we try to do really with the narratives. We try to give you a whole new way of thinking about that mission. That mission is entirely topsy-turvy on its head. How do you go about doing that? That's really cool.
Yeah. And on to mission 2, which is Conduits of Power. So this is Vol and Kurnos testing their skill against each other. We should also point out the deployment maps are different for all of the missions as well.
5 different maps.
There are figures in the pack to explain what the deployment is. It's going to be quite difficult to explain what they are, so
but
we
you
won't
can
do
check
that
it
now.
out.
But you can
Sooner
check
or
it
later you'll hear my dulcet tones saying,
You will.
see figure 1.
You will.
By the way, that first mission is fixed 6 turns. Not all of the missions are a fixed length either, which is a whole other ball game of, well, how do you keep scoring? When do you gamble? It just becomes such a... And this is the thing, to an extent, these are the elements that mean that it's never really actually competitive. Because you're being rewarded for taking the narrative stuff and for taking the stuff that kind of drives the story. And then when we're doing things to you like saying, well, then it might end, mightn't it? I mean, you can getting smashed and still be ahead, like finger tipping on, and the game ends. Oh, great, I've won. This is, I mean, I get really animated about this. You guys less so, because I'm a loser. But I think this is really a whole new way of thinking about how you play a game of Warhammer.
Yeah.
You obviously enjoy sweating as well while making yourself more animated as we go on.
Yeah, I do. That's salty goodness.
Conduits of Power. So there are 4 objectives in this one, which are set up in the centre of each table quarter. Again, you have key players. You also have Divine Intervention. The player whose team is currently losing begins the game on 1 additional mission point. So again, helps that losing team.
It's harder to keep winning as well. It becomes harder to keep snowballing the wins, which is another element that makes it really interesting.
Then you also have Search for Power. At the beginning of the first game turn, after seeing who goes first, randomly select one of the 4 objectives. This objective is the active conduit for turn 1. The player who controls the conduit at the end of the game turn gains 1 mission point. To control an objective, you must have more fortitude points within 3 of the objective than your opponent. Fortitude points are explained in the Blood and Glory mission on page 148 of the Warhammer rulebook. At the beginning of each subsequent game turn, randomly select one of the 3 inactive objectives. For the duration of that game turn, this objective is now the active conduit. Again, the player who controls it at the end of the game turn scores a mission point. Repeat this process every turn. So the idea is it changes every turn which objective is the one that you need to score points.
And it can never double bounce.
Yeah, it can never be the same objective twice in a row.
And that
could bounce back to it the next turn,
yes,
if you roll like that, but it's never going to be one objective all game.
Yeah, and that was really deliberate in the design process there.
Can't just sit on an objective and just hope.
Yeah, and be lucky and roll it.
Roll it every time. And again, I think what's really cool there is suddenly, like armies like Vol, which are generally a bit more about shooting and a little bit more static, they're going to not have as good a time. Yeah. But armies like Azurian become really good because they've got the leadership to branch out and be away from the general because they've got that leadership buff. Or maybe your Kurnos where you've got the big pursues. Or your Kane where you've got the extra reach on your charges to push the enemy off those conduits. Yeah. And because it's the end of the game turn as well, going second means you always get the kind of final bite of the cherry.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a really interesting mission.
Yeah, and then the final objective for this mission is Conduit Aura. So if a priest of the Pantheon casts the Beseech the Gods bound spell within 6 of an active conduit, double the mission points gained from casting the spell. So instead of 1, you get 2.
So again, is that risk-reward, that factor? Do I go chasing off with my priest after the conduit to try and score more points, but then he's exposed? Does he get killed?
Yeah.
That's him getting killed.
Thanks. This one's also random game length. So could end turn 5 on a 5+, turn 6 on 3, and automatically on turn 7.
So when do you take the big gambles? When do you throw 6 dice and put him on the priest's conduit? When do you do it? I don't know. This is the thing I like about that sort of thing.
So yeah, very different mission there. So Clash at the Mergen Stones. I think that's how you pronounce it. So this is the last 2 of the Elven Gods, Azurian and Cain, going to war. So this is a sort of diagonal deployment. Again,
see figure 1.
Yeah, see figure 1. Again, you have key players.
Figure 1.
Again, you have divine intervention. Now, at this point, it could be that the teams are equal and there's no one. Correct. So in that case, no one has the extra. But if there is a team that's losing, you get an additional mission point at the start. So you have Seize the Glory. Immediately score 1 mission point whenever an enemy model is slain in a challenge. If the enemy model was mounted on a monster or a chariot, then you gain an additional mission point if that mount was also slain in the challenge. Champion of the Gods. At the end of the game, score 1 mission point if the enemy priest of the Pantheon has been slain. This is increased to 3 mission points if your priest of the Pantheon is still alive and on the tabletop. And I think we'll caveat that to say if your opponent doesn't have a priest, you get a point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, they've got to be alive and on the tabletop at the end of the game, and they're not.
No. It says if they've been slain. You score 1 if the enemy has been slain. You get 3 if yours is still alive and on the tabletop.
Oh, okay. Apologies. Well, yeah.
But yeah, if they don't have one, you will get 1 mission point.
Because they haven't got one.
But why are you not bringing? Why not bring
a priest? It's free.
If it's for me, it's free.
But yeah, this one very different to the others. All about getting in combat, killing things in combat. Very sort of, it's not as good for those Vol shooty armies, whereas the last...
Very Warriors of Chaos.
Suddenly, you've got like Lilith's Ring of Waning Moon, taking the magic weapon away.
The pinky ring,
The pinky ring.
Potentially huge. Again, Azurian with your always strikes first.
Yeah.
That's got a lot of potential.
Hecate with the poison attacks, and the extra attacks.
And obviously Cain with the Gauntlets of Murder, Killing Blow, and the Hatred. So again, you're going, right, hang on, this is that where the dedications affect the missions again.
Gorman's main just
boop. Oh, yeah.
Hilarious.
So good.
This one is also random game length. So turn 5, 6, or 7, as before. So moving away from the sort of Jewel of the Gods now, we're in the heart of the forest at the Oak of Ages.
So made it to the big tree.
Yeah, the big tree. This is your standard 12 inches on. Deployment. Again, you've got key players. Again, you've got divine intervention. Which is the extra point for the team that is losing. And you have Heart of the Forest as your objective. At the beginning of the game...
This is a lot.
This is a lot of reading. Have fun reading this. At the beginning of the game, after establishing deployment zones, but before deploying any units, each player takes it in turns to place 3 objective markers each, for a total of 6. These markers must be placed more than 12 away from any other objective marker, and more than 6 away from any board edge. At the end of each player's movement phase, 1 infantry, monstrous infantry, or cavalry character in base contact with an objective may test to see if it is the heart of the forest. Roll a d6. On the roll of a 6, you've found the heart of the forest. Immediately discard any other objective markers and ensure you and your opponent are both clear on the character that found the heart. On the roll of a 1 to 5, immediately remove the objective marker you tested on. You have not found the heart, continue to follow the same process on the outstanding objective markers until you roll a 6 or until only one marker remains, in which case that one automatically becomes the heart, and the player whose eligible model ends its movement phase in base contact with it first is considered to be the one who found it. At the end of the game, if the model with a heart is still alive, the model's controlling player scores 3 mission points. If the model with a heart has instead been slain, then the other player scores those 3 mission points. So it's all about getting a character, getting to these different objectives that you place at the start of the game, trying to find the heart, getting there first, and keeping that character alive, essentially.
Big game
Or then
killing it if your opponent
And
gets it.
suddenly Kurnos' spear of D3
Yep.
wound sniper is
Yeah.
right back in the game.
A big game of murder tag.
It is.
Yeah, it's
Big game of murder tag.
This is the thing I really like about it. Like suddenly, like those extra armor saves from like Vol and like again, different armies immediately jump out to me as being different like styles of army immediately jump out to me as being quite good.
Yeah. You've also got breakthrough on this one. So at the end of the game, score 1 mission point for each unit you have wholly within the enemy deployment zone. So again, really incentivises those quick sort of armies that want to really mix it.
So how do you do that? Say you find the heart in your deployment zone. Do you back him up? Do you put a whole army in front of him to protect the heart, or do you try and push on with some of it and get into the GLA so to be divided? Because if you're going to do that, Azurian's really good then. This is the thing I like. I like the fact that I've got to make tough choices. Is that one fixed game length? That one?
No, that's also
that's
random.
also random again.
Rando.
So again, hard to know when to push into the deployment zone. You know, and maybe expose a unit to big damage.
Because you're not sure that it's
You're
going
not
to
sure it's going to end there.
Yeah, and then finally we're in the darkness of the Wildwood, which is the final showdown. So this is table quarters, essentially. Well, not really. It's like 12 inches on, but you only get half width.
Yeah, half the deployment.
So again, you've got key players in Divine Intervention, and you have a time for heroes. At the end of the game, score 1 mission point if the enemy general has been slain. This is increased to 3 mission points if your general is still alive and on the tabletop. You have Fly the Colours, immediately score 1 mission point each time an enemy unit standard or battle standard is slain. That's both at range and in close combat, so you can just shoot them off.
You just got to get rid of them, So suddenly all the armies have got answers to this and not, which is really cool.
Yep, and then you have End the Sermon. Immediately score D3 mission points if the enemy priest of the Pantheon is slain.
Again, random as well, so you can't bank on that. It could be you're in trouble, you get the priest of the Pantheon and get the 3, you know.
I was absolutely deck a priest and half on the game now.
Yeah, it's cool. It's just different again. So
that'll be caveated to say if they don't start with a priest, you get D3 points.
You get D3 points, yeah.
Because the sermon didn't even start, let alone ending him.
Yeah.
And that one,
There was no sermon to
I
end.
have to say, we had a very similar mechanic to this with the Trussards and the Dark Emissaries and the Light of Albion. And every single person that came had one. No one didn't bring one.
Yeah, don't count on just getting extra points.
So I'd be very shocked if people don't bring one.
The priests.
All you've got to do is paint a model with the correct equipment in their hands.
Yeah.
It could be themed to your army, it could be you just go down the elf route, like we've said earlier. So there's so much, it's so easy, to be honest, it's so easy to produce that for yourself. And you get, not only do you have a better chance of winning the missions, you just get way more interactions out of your games. There's so much more you can do by including these elements.
And that one is fixed 6 turns.
Get the full shebang.
Not a
game.
random. Yeah.
Everything together. Yeah, all together.
It's all clear. It's all defined. It's a defined finish to what is going to be has been a story that's run over 4 years, thanks to the pandemic costing us a year, basically delaying the events. 2019, 2021, 2022.
Yeah.
So this is a big finish for Thalandor.
He's had a long road.
Was it 2019?
Yep.
Yeah.
Pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
October 2019.
Oh yeah, it was March 2020, wasn't it? We went into lockdown. Yeah. I'm losing track.
So it's a big fitting finish. I think you've seen, if you've read the story so far, which I know a lot of you'll be waiting for my excellent voice acting work.
Bated breath.
On the
accent.
my excellent voice acting work on the introductions. He's demonic now, so he has like I have to put a filter on his very loose tone. But he'll be back, don't worry. But you've seen that he's completely fractured, and actually all of this is just in the depths of this whole thing for a character that actually has been incredibly sane. As soon as one little spoke of the wheel has become loosened by things not going exactly how he wanted on Albion, you know, it's
all coming apart.
It's all coming apart now, and this is gonna be a brutal finish for him and for this story. For you guys, I hope that the payoff is worth it. I hope it's not like another major fantasy franchise where the payoff was not.
Oh my.
Yes. So, as we said earlier, we're going to go through the new special characters in the towels.
We are.
You've come with us on this journey so far. Lots of very cool prizes, which I don't think we'll spend too much time going in, but there's lots of cool stuff this year.
Yeah.
Artworks, trophies,
Goblets.
merchandise.
Everyone loves a goblet.
Everyone loves
Custom
a goblet.
dice trays, which you'll only be able to get at this event. So in a very real sense, it's really cool stuff to take away as well. Things you're not going to just be able to, you're not going to get everywhere else.
Yeah, and you can check out all the exact prizes in the pack that's out now.
Now we do have Eighthable, which we're going to talk about.
Completely original.
Totally.
I might just ask Scott to read it out.
Yeah, sure. So this is what you get if you crown your ticket. This is one of the awesome additions you get. You also get dinner on the Saturday night at the venue, and access. Nice. And access to the bar until midnight on the Saturday evening. But the main event really is a private bar. Eighthable. It is a private bar. So yeah, totally not inspired by anything else at all.
It's literally here, man.
It says it in the pack. This is totally unique.
What is it?
Totally unique, and in no way inspired by anything else game. So attendees group up into teams of up to 6 to build lists of 8 answers to some of the trickiest Warhammer questions we can devise, all in the historic surroundings of the St Giles Banqueting Hall, a 1,000-year-old church. You'll need to think fast, as these lists of 8s will be timed and will cover every element of Warhammer fantasy, from armies to lore. The winning team will get a free round of drinks by way of a prize on us. So make sure you brush up on your Warhammer knowledge.
We did the big Warhammer quiz.
We did at the
GT, which
Massive
follows
success.
a similar thing. Lots of people had a great time.
Yeah.
But I think it's fair to say, if you were there, we did all sorts of horrible things in that quiz.
Yeah.
There were some really tricky questions, and we did cover lore, in-game stuff,
Like rules.
points value.
Yeah.
Points values.
Names of
Names
unit
of unit
champions.
champions.
No one knows them.
Expect these lists to really stretch.
Rack your brains for your knowledge.
Like your Warhammer hobby. So we're really excited about it.
Yep.
Because it was just so much fun for us as a group to just run and be a part of, and you guys had such a good time. So it's part of what I think makes it not just something you're doing at home with your friends. It's part of it's an event. You come down, it's a whole weekend. You all day Saturday doing these cool narrative games. You get the story between each round where you can see what's happening to Thalandor and his nefarious plans. And at the same time you finish that, you get your dinner, you have a wicked evening, you're in a private bar with all your mates talking about Warhammer, having your whatever beverages you enjoy, and you come back Sunday to see the end of this 3-year or 4-year as it is now campaign pack finish. I can't wait.
Tears will be shared. Tears will be shared.
I hope so.
Spears will be broken.
A sword day. So yeah, very cool. I think I'm very excited. Probably more excited than anyone else. But I think you guys are.
Yeah, I think we're looking forward to.
I'm excited to not sweat.
Not sweat.
Because it'll be October. It'll be cold.
It's nice in there actually. So the temperature was good even in the May, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah.
So
in the May.
In the May. So let's move forward then.
Yeah.
Let's
close the laptop.
Sundering, discussed. It has been sundered. And we shall give you the final section of this video, the part you can always expect, which is what's going to be coming onto the channel in the next 4 weeks. Are we ready?
Yes.
Are we ready? This month's War Council Battle Report will be a clash of epic portions. As we bring the Beastmen back once more to take on the High Elves, with Teclis making his War Council debut.
Let's see if you can take on the bacon.
Let's see if you take home the bacon.
Take on the bacon.
Disappointed.
The bacon's taking him home.
Take the Crown series will continue once again this month, with yet another guest contender entering the Triple Crown Wargaming studio to take on one of us. As ever, they will pick which one of us they want to do battle with, the army we use, the mission we play, the comp score, and the points value. Now, this month sees long-time event attendee and all-round great guy, Dave Churchill coming down.
His friends won't say he's a great guy, but we'll say he's a great guy.
To join us. No, Dave's a ledge. I mean, I think he's been to every single Triple Crown. I can't think of a Triple Crown that he's not been to. Like the GT, where before it was Triple Crown Wargaming and we had the channel. I go right back to like 2015, I think, the first one. And I can't think of a Triple Crown Wargaming event that I have been a part of that Dave hasn't come to. Yeah. He also lent us some really cool dragons for me to lose on a battle report. Thank you, Dave.
He did. He also sold me a Skaven army, which you have seen on a battle report.
Which I also lost against.
Tried to sell you a North Army.
Yeah, he did. You have really bad luck against Dave's models, don't you?
I do, yeah. I have a terrible record against Dave, actually. So
maybe,
to find out...
Maybe it's you.
Let's hope he doesn't pick me. So to find out what his Warriors of Chaos army will be playing against, you'll have to check the episode out in a couple of weeks' time. Then we're going to summon up the last of the Chaos Gods and bring you Byron for Beginners Demons of Tzeentch.
Ultra competitive. Finish
that little set off. That's why I said summon up, not win. This month's Warzone Tale. This model's Warzone Tale? Yeah, why not? This month's Warzone Tale will reignite the long feud between elves and dwarves as the Wood Elves and Darwi go head to head in the Battle of Pine Crags. It's going to be gold, ladies and gentlemen.
You are gold. Oh, come on!
Gold?
Just leave it hanging like that.
This month's Hero of Legend Tale is a story of pride, beauty, violence, and a lust for power. We're going to be taking a look at one of my favourite characters, and that's Neferata. I'm really up for that one. Now, our next instalment of 20 Tactics will blow you away, as I'm going to have a chat with you guys about using artillery. On to the competitive character series now, and this month we'll be heading back to the fair lands of Bretonia, as I imagine Scott will be taking us for a look at the ever versatile Bretonian Paladin. Can't really go wrong with a Bretonian Paladin.
No, lots of good options,
They're
especially
really
when you take one in the sort of confines of the Triple Crown pack, giving them their in charge, giving them their virtue from an separate allowance.
They're very good.
Very
good
spicy,
options. Aren't they? Yeah.
They are, yeah.
They're good stuff. This month's Magic and Mundane will return to the Arcane item slot as we discuss 2 items which will improve your casting attempts. Don't really want to be the person that has to pick between those. Which one's Magic and which one's Mundane?
Yeah.
Depends what army you do.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. This is going to be a good one.
I mean, we all know what army takes which one there.
And finally, this month's Deep Dive will be take a slightly different shape. Yeah. So unlike the previous 15 army books, that's right, we've done 15 army book deep dives. The Demons of Chaos, which is our final one, will need us to rate their regular characters as well.
Yeah, because they don't really have any options.
No.
And in a lot of ways, they do operate really as 4 different sub-factions, the demons, because of the demonic alignment and stuff. Yeah. So to ensure that you get the quality of content you deserve, we've decided to make 4 slightly shorter deep dives for the Demons of Chaos, each focusing on one god specifically. Now, this allows us to go into the real level of detail that I know you expect from us when we do a deep dive. So that's the kind of theory behind it. That's the reasoning. Don't worry, you're not going to have to wait too long to see all your favourite gods covered, because we've decided we're going to release 2 videos at a time.
Yeah.
So on Deep Dive Sunday this month, you'll get 2 Demons Deep Dives. You're going to get the Demons of Nurgle and the Demons of Khorne. I wonder if you can guess what you might be getting next month on Deep Dive Sunday. So that's going to be the first 2. Deep Dive Demons of Nurgle, Deep Dive Demons of Khorne. You'll get both on the same day. And I reckon that we think this will end up being between 6 and 8 hours of content once we've done all 4.
Demons Deep Dive.
As much as I love Chaos in Warhammer Fantasy, I don't love just sitting there reading for 8 hours.
Yeah, that would have been a long video.
I also think I genuinely think we'd have ended up doing a rubbish version of it, because we'd have ended up cutting stuff down.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Pushing
you
stuff
don't have
in.
the time to go into the detail, into the sort of the nuances, especially with gods like Slaanesh and Tzeentch. And Khorne to an extent, to be fair.
They're not
Nurgle
easy to
is
find
the
a
most
competitive
point-and-click,
vein.
really.
Yeah.
And you need to go into the nuances of what you give the heralds, what locus you give the heralds, what size units you go for.
How you shape it up.
Yeah, and all things like that. And yeah, like you say, in a video that would have inevitably been 6 or 7 hours long if we'd have done it all together, we just don't have the time to go into all of those nuances for all of those units.
No, that means I'll probably keep my crown the longest deep dive presentation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably will.
It's going to be cracking. We're really excited about it, and we hope that you guys feel the kind of value of having those 4 slightly shorter but really much richer videos. I would suggest.
Yeah.
And that's it. You've borne with us. You've come to the end of another episode of This Month in Warhammer. I think this is quite a long one, chaps. Or it might just be the heat getting to my brain.
The heat is making it very
The heat is on, if you will.
I hope the heat's not on.
It probably is.
It probably is.
The heating is on.
Yeah, probably.
So, thank you for joining us once again. Max checks the radiator. And make sure that if you're watching us on YouTube, you head over to triplecrownwargaming.com, and if nothing else, you sign up as a knight errant. It's free.
And you get 2 tails.
You do, why not? If you're watching us from the Night of the Realm mustering ground,
Good for you.
you're the real MVPs.
You're the real ones.
Yeah. And beyond that, as always, make sure you contact us on social media if you've got anything you want to shout out or ask us about the video or anything you think we should be talking about next month in Warhammer.
Or if you want to send us some pictures of your cool armies and units for us to put up on our Saturday showcase.
Well, it's time to watch me do a terrible Northern accent. I'm sorry for everyone in Northern England.
That will get changed, hopefully soon.
At some point, yeah. And we'll see you all next month.
Bye, guys.
Ta-ra.
Remember to tag your friends and like, subscribe and share. Then head over to triplecrownwargaming.com and become a Knight of the Realm today.
What are you doing, mate?
You alright?
Do it for Warhammer!